Congressman, welcome to the show.
Alfonso, it's a pleasure to be with you and your listeners on Univision.
Congressman, you know me well. You know I go to the House, I meet with members of Congress, and I've been encouraged by all the meetings I've had with you and with other members that I see Republicans wanting to deal with immigration in a constructive way to pass immigration reform that makes sense, that is respectful of the rule of law, but also is compassionate. Now, this week, I've seen the FAL-CIO and other Democratic-leaning groups saying that, actually mentioning you directly and saying that you're trying to kill immigration reform. I mean, do you think these people really want immigration reform, or they just want to use this for political purposes?
Well, it's very concerning to me because I've worked for the entire time since I became chairman at the beginning of this year on this issue, and I have a long reputation of being supportive of immigration reform. In fact, I practiced immigration law and helped people to immigrate to the United States lawfully from more than 70 countries prior to becoming a member of Congress. So I have a long reputation of trying to solve problems, and I have been very dedicated this year to working to solve this problem. It concerns me when people raise red herrings like that, because it does raise the question whether they would rather have the political issue or some real constructive reforms to address all three areas of immigration reform: new enforcement, legal immigration reforms, and finding the appropriate legal status for those who are not here lawfully today.
And you have been working. I mean, the House Republicans have already passed 5 bills that address different areas of immigration, from border security, from internal enforcement, and you've said that when you return, you're going to look at how to deal with those who enter here illegally when they were minors, and those who are here, the rest of the undocumented population. Now, they're playing what I call the citizenship trap. They say, oh, the Republicans are against a path to citizenship. Goodlatte is against a path to citizenship. But that's not what you're saying. You're not for closing the door to citizenship. What you're saying is no special path to citizenship. And there's a difference there that they avoid mentioning.
Well, that's absolutely right. And the difference is that while the Senate bill provides what I call a special pathway to citizenship, because and it's a long pathway. I'm not criticizing that at all. But what it does is it says that people who have entered the country unlawfully or entered the country lawfully and overstayed their visas, they will be entitled to a route to citizenship, a path to citizenship that is easier, that is better than the pathway that people for generations have followed who have legally immigrated into the United States. And what we say is, give people a legal status. First, fix the border. First, put enforcement in place so we're assured we don't have continuing illegal immigration, but then give a legal status, which would mean being able to live in the United States lawfully, work in the United States, own a business in the United States, pay your taxes in the United States, and to have the opportunity to travel back and forth to your home country, all of those things. And then if you are the beneficiary of a petition filed by a family member, if you marry a United States citizen, if you have an employer who wishes to petition for you for a job for which they can't find a U.S. citizen, any of the traditional ways that you get permanent resident status in the United States and then leading to citizenship, people would be eligible for it. So there is no permanent underclass. There is no a distinction other than to say that people who entered unlawfully will not get an advantage over people who have lawfully immigrated.
Congressman, the point that you're making, is so important, because when they hear this, they are going to respond favorably to what you're saying, because they want to come out of the shadows. Under the last immigration reform, under IRCA, only 40% decided to become citizens. And at the same time, you're saying, let's not close the door to citizenship. Let's keep the process under current law available to them. But what I'm hearing is Republicans willing to provide a path to legal status. Now, do you think Democrats and President Obama would be so cynical to kill an immigration bill that provides a path to legal status because he doesn't have a special path to citizenship? Because that would show that they just want to use this politically.
Well, there's a lot of concern about that. And quite frankly, this is not a new issue. Many of us in the Congress, in both political parties, have offered solutions to various aspects of immigration reform many times over the years. And always the answer is, unless we have a solution that has a pathway to citizenship, we're not going to do anything. It seems to me that we should make progress where we can, both in solving the enforcement and border security issues, reforming our legal immigration programs, because they don't work very well for people who want to come to the United States and for families who want to be reunified and for employers who have shortages of workers in certain areas. These programs can be reformed so that they not only work better, but also create more jobs for Americans. So those two things need to be addressed, and we need to address the appropriate legal status after we have taken the necessary steps to assure that there will not be a repeat of the illegal immigration that has been growing for many years in the country. It is leveled off here in the last couple of years, but it is still a serious problem. And if we were to give an easy pathway to citizenship or a special pathway to citizenship to people who have come here illegally, I think it's going to say to others, well, they've done it twice now. We should come in and we will have the opportunity to someday get our own pathway to citizenship just by illegally crossing the border or overstaying our visa. That's not the way to solve the problem. We're a nation of immigrants. There's not a person listening to this radio program from any background who is an American citizen or lawful permanent resident who doesn't have somebody in their family who came here to better their lives.
Congressman, that's all the time we have. I want to thank you for your time and thank you for your good work. To me, it sounds like there's potential here for consensus if the Democrats are really willing to work with Republicans. Thank you so much.
We're going to continue to work on this issue, and we are dedicated to solving all of the areas of problems with immigration law.
Thank you so much.